This countryside is just like the colorful marbles of our childhood, no matter how light falls on it. The 1,000-year-old little historical town by the river Danube, Kalocsa and its region reflect the constant alteration of colors and forms. Kalocsa is as old as the Hungarian state and Christianity, and its name has become inseparable from our king, Saint Stephen, founder of the state. His statue dominates the main square and guards our present with a strict look. Estric, the first archbishop of the town, brought the crown from Rome, and during 1,000 years, 92 archbishops contributed to the preservation of Hungarian national and Christian values. The historical downtown reflects this glorious past. The large seminary, the main cathedral, the stately building of the palace of the archbishop, the statue of Ferenc Liszt standing modestly under the horse chestnut trees all suggest continuity as well as the permanence of values. The graceful angels of the Holy Trinity monument, built in 1767, preserved the pious faith of the era. Its surprisingly modern relief expresses the efforts of the constructors for the posterity. The visitor is first greeted by the twin towers of the main cathedral. The magnificent-sized and yet human-scaled church was dedicated to the Assumption and was built between 1735 and 1754. According to András Meyerhofer's plans, and is a real masterpiece of the Italian Baroque style. You are charmed by its splendor, the harmony of the arches of interior spaces, the painting of the high altar made by Kuppelweiser, the wood-carved pulpit, the luxurious artistic richness of the ceiling frescoes, and the reliefs made by Miklós Izsó. You are made to meditate by the glass coffin containing St. Pius's bones, found in the Roman catacombs. The organ of the main cathedral is a real masterpiece. The huge instrument has 3 manuals, 52 registers, and about 5,000 pipes. It is one of the most beautifully sounding Hungarian organs and is capable of presenting a wide range of musical styles and human emotions. Its dignified sound is overwhelming between the stately walls. It affects you and makes you devoted and humble. At the same time, it also makes your soul fly freely. In the treasury of the main cathedral, you can admire the remains of the chasuble and crosier from the 12th century, and Saint Stephen Herma, made of gold and silver, weighing more than 50 kilos, the gold chalices, the crosier belonging to the significant prelates. One of them was Archbishop Pál Tomori, leader of the Hungarian troops at the last Battle of Mohács. You can also view the crosses of orders of knighthood, the Archbishop's rings, and the other invaluable pieces of the collections of the treasury. The library, located in the palace of the Archbishop, is the treasury of universal culture, and it represents invaluable asset even in European measure, with its 54 codices, 508 incunabula, more than 140,000 volumes. The modesty and intimate walls of its ceremonial hall do not express vain splendor, but they emphasize the priority of idea and faith. Baroque-covered books can be seen on the wooden frames standing by the walls and in the middle of the hall, providing a very plain background for the plastic grey wooden reliefs made by Malberg, which represent great philosophers, symbolizing the fact that the library is the treasury of science. Through several decades, when St. Stephen's crown and the insignias were guarded in Fort Knox After so many adversities, only the 3 certified copies could be found in Hungary, one of them in the Kalocsa Main Cathedral Library, and cherished the hope that the original crown would get home one day. The town has also got another art, which was not created by the masters of Baroque era, but by the peasants of Kalocsa, endowed with talent and skillful hands. The folk art of Kalocsa deserves to be mentioned as the art of light, because this thousand-faced, permanently renewing, abundantly rich world is the result of the eternal longing for beauty and truth. Perhaps it is not that difficult after seeing the richness in colors and patterns in the clean room of the old country house of Kalocsa, the modesty of the peasant kitchen with an open chimney, the beautifully elaborated embroideries preserved in the display cabinets or the decorated waiting hall of the world's one and only hand-painted railway station. The picturesque beauty of the bank of the river Danube, the silverly sparkling and rolling river, the soft toll heard from the opposite bank promise peace and friendship for all visitors who come by ships on the big blue highway. The passengers are going to have a real adventure, seeing, tasting and taking to Kalocsa. The inn is a patch of Hungary. The cool tranquility of the nicest peasant architectural traditions, the magic of elaborated forms charm you here, strengthening your attachment to a disappeared world, to a pure source which will always survive in your heart for some mysterious reason. The rhythm of life has slowed down in the yard of the farmhouse, bathing in sunshine, and this reminds you of the lost paradise. You can understand the language of farm animals, you can listen to the proud master of the poultry yard, or a haughty gander, a graceful steed is having a dust bath. Forgotten sounds, strange scents complete this harmony. Perhaps the atmosphere of country fairs is recalled by the yard of the inn, where some never-existing flowers of fields and forests are blooming under the decorator's hand. The paintbrush is running on the snow-white wall. The decorating hand is led only by the experience and fantasy of generations, as if it held a magic wand. Immense concentration, good eyes, the inner regularities of colors and forms of patterns are leading the embroiderer's hand, which can handle, even in the dangerously sparking needle of the sewing machine, steadily when making the famous lace-like embroidery of Kalocsa, the so-called Richelieu. The well-coordinated rhythm of the feet driving the machine and the hands moving the workpiece is a real attraction, the final result of which is the unique masterpiece. The folk dancers of Kalocsa have traveled all over the world, and they are the real artists of Hungarian folk art. Their lively songs express power, optimism. Their colorful folk costumes remind you of the beauty of the fields in spring. When presenting Kalocsa, one should not forget about paprika. In September, all the fields turn into flaming red. Paprika is ripening on thousands of hectares, and this spice deserves to be mentioned as the red gold of Kalocsa all over the world. The past memories of paprika are kept up in the one and only Paprika Museum of Europe, presenting its history from the moment of crossing the Atlantic from America to the time when it became the most Hungarian spice due to the intervention of Turkish conquerors. You are charmed by the different flavors, different colors and a different rhythm in the wine cellar village of Hajós, which was established by Queen Mary Theresa and was prospering due to the hard work and life instinct of Swabian people who were settled here from the region of Ulm and Freiburg. The beautiful site of the more than 1,200 wine houses is an architectural curiosity in Europe. It is made even more special by the alteration of intimate little streets and squares. The magnificent flavor of the fiery wines ripening in the cool cellars cut into the lush walls, the rarely heard guttural sounds of ancient Swabian dialect, and the cheering rhythms of the Knopf accordion. The people living here had to fight for their happiness, but despite all the trouble they went through during their history, they remained hospitable, kind and open. For them, wine and making wine is a sacred issue, the means of making friends. Man is a creature of infinity, and because of that, he feels an ancient attachment to vast spaces where soul can fly freely, where at last he can realize his own greatness and fallibility. Bakodpuszta, situated in the embrace of Kalocsa and Kunság, and its wet grassy meadows, rustling reeds, blowing winds, colorful wildflowers and untouched fauna provide a genuine setting to recall the memory of nomad and semi-nomad animal keeping, to clear up the mystery of the several thousand-year-old relationship between horseman and his horse. Only the one can find out the secrets of Puszta, who is longing for freedom, who is capable of receiving the coded messages of nature and can feel its gentle touch, the one who becomes a part of this very special world. This is the only genuine setting where you can realize the real significance of the stamping gallop of the stud. This is the only place where you can experience the real beauty and harmony between a horse and a horseman, and you can see how it is possible to control the waving mane steeds being absorbed in their gallop. The riders are familiar with each movement of the horses they are responsible for, since they look after them day by day. The horsemen always say something kind to their four-legged fellows, and they never miss the chance to stroke the newcomers in the pleasant-smelled darkness of the former estate stable. The horses trust their riders, even if they can hear the whips cracking dangerously close to their ears, or they are made to lie or sit on the ground. This implicit confidence is evident in the case of four-in-hand. Its success is not only dependent on the rider's virtuosity, but also on the proper selection and discipline of horses, and that is what makes the unique elegance of a four-in-hand carriage a real attraction which is admired all over the world if it is driven by a Hungarian rider. The horseman and his horse almost unite when they are absorbed in playing as if they knew each other's thoughts. The pure joy of playing is based on mutual respect and confidence, which can control the tension of muscles. Former times are recalled by the Hungarian grey cattle in Bakod. This stately, beautiful animal used to be the king of the puszta. It could easily tolerate the frosty winters. Its fearful horns defended it against wolves. Its reappearance in the puszta completes this setting, and we managed to keep up a very important part of our past by preserving its genes. But the puszta still belongs to human, who made it a scene of human life and who experiences the everyday wonders in this world created by him from sunrise to sunset. And when sun is settling on its own way, sometimes it doesn't understand why it is so good to look into the flaming fire, why the food and drink taste better in the wind-blown puszta, why its heart is warmed by the sound of the clarinet. But it has done so for many centuries, and it will always do so as long as there is a Hungarian and puszta in the world.